The King are here back once again with Madden Simulation. And now we're only down to 8 teams. Yes. Wildcard weekend came and went, and for some, it was another day in the park, and for others, it's better luck next year. And congratulations, Matt. Man, you got it right. Jacksonville, Buffalo. It was not as exciting as some people were hoping, but after 17 years of not making the playoffs, I mean, what else could you ask for from the Buffalo Bills? And Jacksonville, congratulations. You move on to the Divisional Round, and you take on the team that you beat earlier in the season, and the team that you beat 10 years ago in the playoffs. The Pittsburgh Steelers. But quick roundup of last week. We had the Falcons taking care of business against LA. We had a surprise comeback, put it that way. The Chiefs losing to Tennessee thanks to quarterback / wide receiver Marcus Mariota. The New Orleans Saints, they took care of business. They had looked like an easy one, but turned out to be a close one against Carolina, which cost Carolina a coach. And last but not least, that's all four. Jacksonville beat Buffalo. So we have, we have this week in the Divisional Round on Saturday, we have the Atlanta Falcons taking on the number 1 seed in the NFC, the Philadelphia Eagles, and Tennessee Titans taking on the number 1 seed in the AFC, the New England Patriots. On Sunday, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the number 2 seed Pittsburgh Steelers. And of course, what I believe is the game of the week, a rematch just like the other one. 2 rematches for sure this week that happened earlier in the season. The New Orleans Saints taking on the number 2 team, the Minnesota Vikings. So we have Sunday is a rematch Sunday, while Saturday could be your upsets in the making, if you want to put it that way. I'll dive deep into the games that are coming up this week in just a little bit, but let's go around the NFL and some of the news and notes that have taken place. We had several. What was it? Okay, we had some coaching vacancies filled, such as the Bears hired the Chiefs offensive coordinator. What's his name? Oh, no, I gotta find it. Well, they hired the Chiefs offensive coordinator. The Carolina Panthers fired their offensive coordinator, Shula, and hired Turner. Packers have hired a new general manager in Brian Gutekunst and a new defense coordinator, Mike Getty, who was with the Cleveland Browns just recently, and they decided to bring back Joe Philbin.
What a really nice game right there on first down for them. Brings up a nice second down for them.
The worst, best kept secret. The Oakland Raiders bring back John Gruden, and I'm not exactly who, but there are people that believe the the Oakland Raiders have broke the Rooney Rule, which basically states that for any coaching vacancies and front office, that teams must interview a minority in the interview process. And I think I've discussed this a little bit before. And like this rule is a double standard, because obviously for the Oakland Raiders, they know who they want to hire. Excuse me. They wanted John Gruden. So basically, they just needed to. I think they end up interviewing one of their tight end coaches or one of their assistant coaches, and someone else who. And basically, hey, you want to be coach? Good? No? Okay, moving on. And I don't know. I don't know how to put this. Like, the Rooney Rule is good and bad. I mean, like I'm trying to say, Oakland Raiders knew who they want. They wanted John Gruden. They didn't want anybody else. But to comply with the Rooney Rule, they had to interview at least one minority candidate to fulfill that obligation. How that interview process goes, or how long, and if it's the same quality like the rest. I mean, what are the rules that states how it's done? I don't know. But they comply. Here we go. We interviewed the minority. It's like, thanks, but no thanks. And hey, John Gruden. Okay, you're hired. But you can interview. Well, it doesn't matter. We know we want you. And because you have all these other teams, that might have these self-promotions, like, the Packers hiring their GM, Brian Gutekunst. He was in the from within the organization. They not saying they knew that he was going to be the guy, but he's within the organization. It's like, hey, we want to promote you. We want to promote you for this, but we got interview this dude or that guy or this girl or whatever, first, and just to comply. And it's like, okay, but we want you. And I don't know how far deep this probe investigation will go, but in all honesty, I don't think the Raiders are going to get fined. I don't think they're going to be penalized. There's only been one team that has, and that was the Detroit Lions back when they hired Steve Mariucci. They did not interview a minority character. They knew that they wanted Steve Mariucci because Steve Mariucci was from that area and so on and so forth. And, they went and hired him. And it's like, no, you violated the Rooney Rule. Let's see. And so and they were fined. The Detroit Lions were fined $200,000 for that. And so I don't know. Do I want to see the Oakland Raiders get punished? I care less. Do I feel like they violate the Rooney Rule? No. I mean, they knew who they wanted. They didn't. Mark Davis knew who he wanted as head coach, and apparently he wanted him since his father died. Al Davis died. He wanted John Gruden back, but John Gruden was like, "Yeah, I'm going back to the booth. No, I'm not ready quite yet." And it's like, okay. And, they more or less, once they knew they'd get John Gruden, they were able to get John Gruden before Jack Del Rio coached his last game. And it's like, that's kind of sad, but apparently if you didn't know writings were on the wall, then he was blinded in the back. So, best of luck to the Oakland Raiders. We'll see how things go. Some other developing news that I saw was dealing Le'Veon Bell. He's talking about sitting out or retiring if he does not get if he gets franchise tag once again. I'm not. Let's see.
Now Forbath for the extra point.
I'm not exactly sure the reasoning behind it, but the whole franchise tag and stuff like that.
So a nice drive put together there. They go 75.
Bell might. Let's see. Here we go. Le'Veon Bell said he considered sitting out or retiring if tagged in. This is according to ESPN. Le'Veon Bell is only 25. I hope it. This is a quote. I hope it doesn't come to that, but I would definitely consider it. He said on Thursday during practice. Bell's being paid $12.1 million on a franchise tag, and the number is projected to increase to around $14.5 million for the next season. Teams can tag players between February 20th through March 6th, and they have until July 16th to work out a long-term deal. And the most famous player right now that's been franchise tag how many times has been Kirk Cousins. Last 2 seasons, the Washington Redskins have franchise tagged him, but only signed him to that minimum 1-year deal. I think it's like an average of what if they did a long-term deal, it would have to be the highest paid or something like that. I'm not sure.
A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
We'll see how that turns out. I mean, I don't see Le'Veon Bell retiring. I'd be super surprised, but it'll be very interesting. Don't know what else to say before we dive into the 4 games that are happening this weekend and my thoughts and predictions of what's going to happen. I mean,
and if I'm the offensive play caller, I'm not just looking at my dagger.
I'll say that
I'm looking at some of my specials, something that can fool them and give you
I really haven't been following that closely of what's happening in the NFL. It's just touchy here and there. You have the playoffs going on, you have coaching changes. Let's see.
They get 9 out of that one, and as a result,
about the coaching changes, like I said, I know Oakland and Chicago have found their replacements. The Packers have found their new general manager and defensive coordinator and new offensive coordinator, like I said. Arizona's still looking. Chicago Bears, Matt Nagy. He was the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, which surprisingly, hasn't had an offense with the last 2 seasons. And who was offensive coordinator before? Doug Peterson. Let's see. Detroit Lions are still looking. Indianapolis is still looking. The New York Giants are still looking. Oakland Raiders, they picked John Gruden, but we'll see how that turns out, and that's it. Houston. Did they? It's Brian Gainey found a new GM by the sound of it.
Throwing on first down is Breeze.
And that's it. And I said, no, Carolina, they fired their offense coordinator and so on and so forth. But let's move on. Let's focus on the games that are happening this weekend. Like I said, on Saturday we have Atlanta at Philadelphia, and Tennessee at New England. While on Sunday we have Jacksonville at Pittsburgh and New Orleans at Minnesota. And at the moment, the Vikings are putting a whooping on the Saints. Let's see how this play goes. We got 4 wide. Drew Brees plenty of time. Rolls to his right. Throws it to nobody. Well, there's still, 9-something left in the game? You never know. Maybe they could pull something out. Hopefully, I can only hope. Anyways. We start off with a doozy on Saturday with Atlanta at Philadelphia. I mean, you go back before Carson Wentz got hurt. This would be the dream match. I mean, how well is Atlanta going to do in the weather? Not sure what weather conditions are supposed to be like in Philly tomorrow. Let's take a quick weather report and see what the weather's supposed to be like in Philadelphia. Oh, geez. This has Philadelphia. It's supposed to be in the low 30s, low 30s. So, but nice and clear. Today it was in the 60s apparently, and has chance of rain. While in New England, apparently they got blasted with I forget the name of it. Basically, they got hit by snow, and Bill Belichick said the cold and snow is not an excuse to miss practice, and that's kind of funny. They are expecting tomorrow temperatures to dip into the high 20s, but supposed to rain and then taper off. So those are the weather forecasts in. Let's check out Pittsburgh, I guess, while we're at it. I'm sure it's going to be very similar to Philadelphia, but just tad. Sunday, little chilly out. Those 18 degrees, and that's a noon kickoff for the Steelers and Jags. And of course, Minnesota and New Orleans, they both play in a dome, and they have weather control. But let's go back to Atlanta, Philadelphia. I mean, Atlanta's kind of the hot team at the moment. One of the hot teams. They start the season 3-0. Then I think they lost 3 straight games against the AFC East, and then they finally won a game, and it was 4-3. And they tapered off a little bit, but they came back strong and finished the season 10-6. And they're finally getting back to where they were. But the whole story comes with let's see.
Complete to right. And this time not quite to the 30. It'll be down at the 31-yard line. Just a 5-yard pickup, and it leads to 4th down.
That's certainly playing down in distance very well by the defense, isn't it?
I know
I'm underneath by all means.
Anyways. Atlanta's finally getting momentum, moving and so forth. But we'll see how the weather affects them and so on and so forth. Eagles are the bigger question here. How will they do with Nick Foles? And team starting a quarterback that's hasn't started more than 3 games, usually hasn't won a playoff game. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
And this score will stay right where it is.
There was some stat I saw and so on and so forth, but
they're still within 2 scores.
It really comes down to how will Nick Foles be under pressure by the Atlanta defense. We all know how well the Eagles' defense is, we all know what the type of weapons the Eagles have. It's just how will Nick Foles do under pressure? I mean, this ain't his first rodeo. He's played in the he hasn't played in the playoffs before, I don't think. Maybe the first year. Anyways, but he hasn't had
less of a field goal attempt for him.
I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for. Anyways, hasn't been proven. I mean, we know what Matt Ryan is bringing to the table. We know what the Falcons are bringing to the table. We just don't really know how Nick Foles is going to react. They're the home team. You would think home field advantage, momentum is all on their side, but can't guarantee it. And for my pick, I'm going with the home team here. I'm going with the Eagles. Nick Foles is an okay quarterback, and I think he will at least survive at least 1 week. And the defending NFC champions, the Outdoors is their weak spot, and will be watching Championship Sunday in their on their couches. The other Saturday game, Tennessee at Tennessee at New England. I mean, can you really ask and think of how can Tennessee even go up against New England and have a chance? I mean, for the most part, I do think New England's going to win this game. Tom Brady's like 18-3 at home in the postseason. Bill Belichick is umpteen and whatever. I mean, they're the team to beat in the AFC. I don't know how, in all honesty, how Tennessee and Jacksonville are going to survive this weekend. I mean, Tennessee could come out of nowhere and just, boom, surprise. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping Tennessee wins, but my money is on New England. I think Marcus Mariota is just going to get too flustered. Yes, they came back to win against Kansas City, but like we've seen all season with Kansas City, they're just not the same team. They're just up and down. Kansas City was up and down. They get this big lead and then they blow it. And that's another trademark for Kansas City, though, in the last few years in the postseason. New England's not one of those teams. New England is very consistent, especially at home. If it was on the road, maybe, but no. I'll say the New England Patriots, they'll be in their, not 12 straight. I think almost 9th straight AFC Championship game. So only time will tell. Then we move on to our Sunday games. Jacksonville at Pittsburgh. I mean, early in the season, Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's second loss came to Jacksonville, and then they wouldn't lose another game for a very, very, very long time until a little old team called the New England Patriots came rolling around. But that was before the Steelers found themselves, figured out who they are, and so on and so forth. And the Steelers have been on a roll ever since they lost to Jacksonville. I mean, that game against, I didn't watch the game against Buffalo and Jacksonville, but by the sound of it, 10-3 was the final. Oh my God. I can only imagine how horrible it was. And I can only imagine how a slaughterfest this could be. I mean, Jacksonville's got the defense. It's just that can Blake Bortles prove everybody wrong that, hey, I can be the guy. I am the man. Keep me in Jacksonville and sign me. And like I said, I would love to see an upset, but I got to go with Pittsburgh on this one. And I think it sounds like Antonio Brown's going to be healthy. And, if the triple Bs or whatever and Juju are all healthy, if Pittsburgh can stay healthy with all their main guys, they could win. And they can win a Super Bowl. But then we move on to... So I got to pick Pittsburgh in that one. So I'm picking Pittsburgh, New England in the AFC Championship game. And on the NFC side, this Saints and Vikings, this is going to be a tough one. Saints got the number 2 offense, and the Vikings got like the number 1 offense, or somewhere along those lines. And it's usually when the highest rating offense takes on the highest rating defense wins. And I have to go with the Saints. I can't pick the Vikings. If the Vikings defense shuts down Minnesota, then Vikings defense. If the Vikings defense shuts down New Orleans, then yes, Minnesota will win. Case Keenum will be this unsung hero. But it'd be funny to see Keenum get hurt. Say Bradford or Teddy Bridgewater, they're healthy, they come in, they get hurt, and so on and so forth. But I'll say this: my pick is New Orleans, mainly because I just can't go with Minnesota. I can't see Minnesota. I hate Minnesota, so I can't pick Minnesota. But Minnesota has the better defense. They are the home team. They have everything rolling for them. But I want to see New Orleans, Philadelphia, NFC championship game, because I'm still sticking with Pittsburgh versus New Orleans in the Super Bowl, and Pittsburgh winning. But so just a quick recap: I'm picking Philadelphia, New England, Pittsburgh, and New Orleans to win this weekend. And at the moment, Madden likes Minnesota 24 and New Orleans 6. So only time will tell to see how well I am and how Man is. I mean, Man at the moment is 1-0 in the playoffs. Forget the regular season. It's about the postseason. So that will about do it for me. I know I was just a little off this week, but next week we have a double feature within one. I'm hoping to have both the NFC and AFC championship games simulated in one video, smashed up, and talk about all 4 team seasons and my picks and so forth. But that's next week. This is this week still. So anyways, thanks for watching. We just got a few more weeks left of football, so until next time, like I said, thanks for watching, and enjoy while it lasts. So, just stalling for time. Anyways, thanks for watching. See ya next week.
It's a win for the Vikings as we say so long from Minneapolis.